Welcome back, it's me, Dr. Mel from justmillit.com. We're gonna make a double batch of bread, hard wheat, 500 grams. And we're gonna make this a multiple grain batch, 600 grams, Kamut, 700, and refill. I really think that 25% is the max that I would go on any grains that don't have excellent gluten development properties. And that includes Kamut, it includes spelt, any of the other grains besides hard wheat. Unless you really like a dense bread or a bread that's not gonna hold together as much, or you don't mind adding vital wheat gluten to your stuff. I'm not willing to add the vital wheat gluten to my bread when I could instead just use an appropriate amount of each grain and have balance. But if that's you and you want to add more of other grains and put some vital wheat gluten in there, go right ahead. Your kitchen, your rules. I might judge you a little on the inside. No, seriously, I don't understand why people would want to buy the additives and add them in, but it doesn't mean that you can't. If you're gonna buy the additives, I would say you've gone far enough that you're milling your flour. So at least buy organic additives so that you're not getting the chemicals in with those additives that you've been trying to avoid by buying the grains and milling them fresh. You see what I'm saying? That's where I'm doing it. And then price-wise, why would you buy vital wheat gluten if you don't have to? And you could still have great bread. So that's that. Let's mill this flour. We got 800 grams to do. And that's gonna be delicious. Here we go. 800 grams of flour. See how these little Sunbeam Mixmaster bowls fit so well? If you find any, they're so awesome. All right, we've got 40 grams of the flour that we just milled in our bowl, and we're gonna make our udane. Other options could be to cook potatoes and mash them, right? We could blend this in the blender and make a potato bread, with this being a replacement for the udane that we're gonna make now. I wanna use these potatoes for a potato salad, so we're not gonna put them in our bread today. You could use sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are another great starch. Here's our boiling water. We're gonna add double that, or 80 grams of boiling water to our 40 grams of flour. We're just gonna mix this up in the bottom of the bowl. I like how my quick no-weight udane can very easily become a one bowl bread. So we mix it up and it becomes thick, like a paste, just like this. See how the steam's coming off of that? We would kill our sourdough starter or our yeast if we just added it right in. This is one of the reasons we're gonna use cold water. We need to cool that mixture down. We're gonna add 600 grams of cold water. The scale there, 600 grams. So 690 grams total with the water for the udane. Echo, what is 690 divided by 800?
690 divided by 800 is 0.8625.
That's our hydration, 86%. Echo, what is 690 plus 50?
690 plus 50 is 740.
And Echo, what is 740 divided by 800?
740 divided by 800 is 0.925.
If we added one egg, we go from 86 to 92% hydration. And we can use our devices to do the math for us so we don't have to do it in our heads. I'm gonna just crack an egg. Uh-oh. Now we turned our lean dough into a rich dough, or an enriched dough. Egg is one of the many things that makes a dough enriched. Another way to make an even softer bread is to just swap the water for milk. Or if you're a vegan, coconut milk, right? And just leave out the egg then. So we need to put some starter in here. Let's do that. Break up that udane and the egg. Okay. Now, the number one question I get is how much starter? It's a range between 10% of the flour, real quick, for you non-math people. 800 grams is how much flour I have for this double batch of bread. Drop a zero, 80. 80 is also the same amount that I used for boiling water for my udane. If you're wondering how much starter can I put into my sourdough bread to make it work, use the same amount as the amount of boiling water you used for your udane. So start at 80 grams. If you go a little bit higher than that, no big deal. It might just rise a little bit faster. Oh, I love this sourdough starter. Let's get it out there. We're gonna put this in. We're at 40, and that would be 5% of the flour, right? And 96, I like that. That'll work. That's more like 15% of the flour. I got some starter left, which is good because I got other things that I want to make. And now we just have to add the rest of our ingredients. We're gonna zero out our scale and add the salt, which would be 2%, which is 16. There we go. And then our lemon juice, also 2%, or 16 grams. Lemon juice is optional, unless you really like bread that's nice and bendy for days, which we do. In our case, it's not optional. We always put the lemon juice in. 14, we're just gonna call it at that. I don't feel like messing with it. We got our lemon juice, our salt, our starter, flour and water, and an egg. We're gonna mix that up. If you would like to add some fat to your bread, you could still do that. You could put butter in here, extra virgin olive oil. I'd go for like 25. You could do probably about 50 grams if you'd like. That will make your bread dough softer. If you want to add a little sweetener, go right ahead. I don't. It doesn't need it at all. This is some of the best bread I've ever had, and none of it's got sugar in it. All right, we're gonna lock our bowl in place, add the dough hook. If you are mixing by hand, use your Danish dough hook. You're gonna use your Danish dough hook and time, and do a lot of resting in between mixing and doing your stretch and folds and coil folds. The dough will come together just as nicely as the mixer, but boy do I love using the mixer. All right, I am just letting it mix till the flour is fully incorporated. I know you can't see that very well. I'll move my mixer so you can see better. That's looking pretty good. Let's pause our mixer and lift it out. See how that dough looks more like mashed potatoes than a dough? You might think, oh no, I messed up. I put too much liquid in there at this point in the mixing. And I'm here to tell you, you did not. I just want to make sure that we get all the flour incorporated. I love how nicely this dough mixes, like the bottom of the bowl. There's nothing stuck to it. It really does a nice thorough job. There we go. For this mixer, you have to lift up a little before pulling the tab on the side, and then it releases and goes down. Now we're gonna kick this up to speed 2. Speed 2 on this mixer, I would say is pretty close to speed 6 on the Zacme 7-quart, and it just does a beautiful job kneading the dough. I wanna make some matcha, put some ginger in my matcha. How's our bread dough looking? Looking good. That's a minute. I'm gonna take that back down, and I can see how so much more of the bowl has cleared. Let's turn that off. Just 1 minute at the high speed. Really made the dough. See how much stretchier it is right now? It's not ready yet, but it's darn close. Most of the upper part of the bowl has been cleared. That's good. If you wanted to stop mixing it at this point, you can, but I just love waiting until it's totally clean. At speed 2, I'm gonna leave it there for a little bit. The bigger the batch of bread dough, the longer it's gonna take to get to window pane. This batch is gonna take a little bit longer than my usual single batch. And I think that's part of the problem when people try to do like a quadruple batch. They're running their mixer for a really long time, and it can overheat the dough the longer it goes, right? Any kind of friction is gonna increase heat. That's another part of why we wanna use our cold water. You may wanna reserve some of your water and add it in as ice, if that's the case. I'm liking the sound of this as the dough is being slapped against the side of the bowl. Hear it? It's looking beautiful, and the bottom of the bowl is really all that's left to be cleaned. And that's starting to happen a little bit at a time. Hey buddy, after I'm done with this, would you like to go for a walk? I found you out. We're on the same wavelength today. You're gonna wanna put shorts on though, because it got warmer. Probably short sleeves. I'm gonna have to change too. Meow! Hi! Oh, doesn't that dough look so good? Yes! Meow! Yes, it does. Oh, it's looking so pretty.
Say, just mill it.
Just mill it! Don't forget to just mill it.
No, don't. You say it.
Just mill it. Ruff.
I'm a cute cat.
Yes, you are.
Meow.
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 Now, all right, here you hold them. Don't let them fall in the bowl. That would be very bad. Ooh, the bottom of the bowl is getting totally cleaned.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, yeah, thank you, Kitty, for confirmation. And it is done. It's done.
I thought it done.
Now we have some gorgeous dough.
It is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, says Kitty. Meow. Okay, let's put this
They're
water
both
back
best
over
friends.
here. You guys are best friends. That's so
Yeah, we're best
rare to have a
friends.
cat and a dog be best friends.
Does that mean what I'm saying you're going to use?
No, you can sit there. I'll let you sit there. I won't get in your way. Here's some cold water. We're going to clean the dough hook with that. I get any little bits down.
And let's grab
Ooh, this looks good.
more some
Here's our dough, and we're just going to dump this out.
Yay! That means we'll have bread.
Not a bad dough dump,
Let
right?
me see.
Yay, we're going to have bread. You can see. You got eyeballs, right? Oh, good.
But I can't see inside the bowl.
You can. You just have to look down.
No, in the not sealable bowl.
What?
That one.
This bowl? You want to see in this bowl? Hold on.
How good is it?
See?
Oh, that
see?
was good.
That's pretty good, right?
I agree.
I'm so glad I have your approval. I always wanted the approval of a puppy dog, and now I got it.
And now you
Okay.
got a purple cat. They said, just mill it alone.
Just smell it. Now, we're going to play with our dough for just a minute. And we could see that we have this stunning...
These are so cool. It's
Look at that window pane. It's so
Wait.
thin, it almost
Let
looks...
me-
No, it'll stick to you. You're furry. We don't want fur in our bread. Now, do you guys think you could get off of the cutting board for a minute? I got to laminate my dough. A lot of people I've seen, they want to laminate their dough after the bulk fermentation, and I don't think that's a great idea. Wet our cutting board. You can wet it or oil it. Just helps it to not stick quite so much.
Every time we sand it, the dance changes.
Please don't do that. All right. With wet hands, we're going to stretch out our dough.
Can I
Oops, what do
sand
we get basil in there for?
I'm gonna sand this half.
Well, not when we're doing the bread. This
I don't
part
want my
reminds me
bacon cut off.
of the strudels I'm seeing people doing. It's getting to that time of year where they make this dough and they stretch it out like paper thin. This is how you're doing your lamination. Can you get him out of the camera? I'm okay with him being here. I'm not okay with him interfering with me, trying to show people how to do the bread. Thanks. All right, and then this we're just gonna make the best.
That bread.
We're gonna bring this up and over.
I'm gonna touch the bread.
If you touch the bread, I'm gonna kick you out of my kitchen.
I don't care.
And you won't be allowed back in. Don't do it. Don't be a bad cat.
Yeah, that's when it's heat really close.
Oh, I stretch this up. It's so
At least
stretchy.
cats can stand right here.
Kenny?
That looks good. Okay. Like
And now we're just gonna make that taut skin. And so when I'm doing this, I'm pushing my hand down against the counter and back. And then when I'm pulling, I'm using both hands, and keep them wet if they're sticking, and dragging down towards the board and towards me. And that tightens up the skin on the bread.
I didn't know bread had skin.
The skin is this surface right here. Oh, that feels very good. I think if I do that anymore, then it's gonna tear.
This is the cat.
Okay. Where's the cat? Where's my bench scraper? And then I like to use the bench scraper to just incorporate any of the little bits. None of them are, can you stop with the cat? Left on the board when I'm done. And if it is, I'll just add it in there. Now we're ready for the bulk fermentation. We've got a nice, strong dough that had a gorgeous window pane, and now we've given it some structure. So the only time that you really want to do stretch and folds or coil folds after this point is when you see the dough relax out towards the sides of the bowl. If it's holding its structure, there's no need to add more structure by doing those folds. We're gonna put a lid on this. And since it's a beautiful day, you're not going to pay as much attention to this. It's 1 o'clock. Whenever we get back, I'll take a look. It might be half an hour, 2 hours, I don't know. But that's the cool thing. I figured you would. That's when we're gonna look at it. With sourdough, if you didn't look at this again until it rose and it was jiggly, say 6 hours later, cool, no big thing.
Can I say it?
Yes, in a minute. So don't stress about doing all the steps. We're either gonna do them or not, depending on how this day goes. This is why I keep making the same things or very similar over and over again, so people can see all the steps. I'm not hiding anything from you or cutting it out and making it look pretty. This is how it really is.
We make it look pretty, and we're not cutting anything out.
And so we're gonna go, and when we're making bread, everything's better if you...
Just a minute.
That's right, bye-bye. 3 hours have gone by, and now we're gonna look at our dough. See how the dough has relaxed, come out to the sides. It's a little bit jiggly, but not enough. And we can see some bubbles on the surface of our dough, which is an excellent sign that we are on the right track. We're gonna wet our hands. There's my water. We're gonna do some coil folds. Sorry for the turbulence. We're gonna pull the dough up, let it flop under, put it back down. That's a coil fold right there. What's a coil fold? Pull the dough up, let it flop under, put it back down. Now we're gonna turn it so that the folded sides are towards us and away from us. And we're gonna do it again. Grab the dough closer to this side, let it flop under, put it back down. And then one more time, all the way around to the other side. Pick the dough up, let it flop under, and there you have it. You can just let it go like this, but I like to tuck it under again into a bit of that ball shape. It's just something that I like to do, just like that. This is what the dough looked like when we first started our bulk fermentation. And the more you can get your hands on your dough to do these checks, especially in the beginning, the more familiar with the dough you will become, and you will know when your dough's ready to shape much easier than somebody who might not play with their dough at all and they just let it go till it rises. You'll have no idea what the dough should feel like, what it shouldn't feel like. Play with your dough. That's it. All right, we're gonna put the lid on and let this continue to do the bulk fermentation. It's not ready yet. We can see that it's spread out in the last 45 minutes, but I can see more bubbles on the surface of the skin. I can see that it's a little jiggly, still not great. The best way to know how jiggly your dough really is and how full of air it is to do a coil fold. Pick up the dough, put it back down. This still feels heavy and dense to me. It's not ready, but it feels more pillowy than it did before. It feels a little puffier, just not much puffier. There we go. And again, I'm just gonna round out my dough. You don't have to do this part, but I like to. There it is. I can see these nice fine little bubbles on the surface of the skin. Such a great indicator that your bulk fermentation is going well. It's 7 o'clock, 6 hours after we mixed this double batch of sourdough. Our dough is looking much puffier, much more jiggly, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of puffiness to this dough. Not ready yet. We're gonna carry on. Besides, I don't have anywhere to be except here, chilling out with my dough. I would rather over ferment this than under ferment it. When you go too soon in baking with sourdough, even if you bake to temperature, right? You can bake to 205 and pull out your loaf and let it cool, and what you might have inside is a really gummy crumb with these giant holes in there. That's a sign you jumped the gun, you baked too soon, been there, done that. Whereas if you over ferment your dough, you might have a denser loaf, but it can still turn out, right? And you're gonna have a less likelihood of having a dense, gummy inside. Well, dense, you might have that, but less gummy and maybe just smaller holes in the crumb. All right, so this is really starting to look good. It's less sticky to the touch. We could totally move on. I don't want to yet. We're gonna push this a little bit further. Let's check back, say, in another hour. It's about 8 o'clock. Ooh, look at our dough now. See how much more it's risen? Look at all the bubbles under there. It's really pillowy now. And if we go to lift up our dough now, you can feel the air in there. This is beautiful. Look at that jiggle. This is gorgeous. We're ready to shape this dough. We're gonna divide it in half, we're gonna shape it, bake it. Good large cast iron pans. We're gonna use parchment. One this pan, one on top of this one. Put them to the side. $16.50. That'd be about $8.25 a piece. Better dough. $7.92, $8.54, $8.26. There we have it. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a different shaping today. We're gonna use our bench scraper, and we're just gonna round it. Take this one, and we will also just round it, just like we did before the bulk fermentation. There we have it. We're gonna let these rest on the board for a few minutes so the gluten can relax, and then we're gonna shape them. There's not gonna be a whole lot to do really with that. And while we're at it, I'm gonna start preheating my oven to 450 degrees. We're gonna bake these puppies in the oven. All right, let's shape these loaves and get them into the pan so they can rise. Here's our pan, and we are simply going to try this a different way today, shall we? We'll scoop our dough over just like that, and then we'll pinch it like that. There. Get a nice taut skin on it. Make it a little oblong. What's that? We're going to pinch it and plop it just like that into our bread pan. Isn't that beautiful? And if you want to pat it with some wet hands.
Mom, I'm about to make it explode.
Oh boy. We're going to cover this up. It's good, just very fermented. Let's do the next one. We shaped it into a ball. We can scoop it this way with our bench scraper. Oh, we'll pinch. Let me wet my hands again. And let's just put that puppy right.
This will work as well. Make sure it isn't poisonous.
This is gonna go right over top. And where did I put the other one? Oh, right there. We have 1, 2, and they will bake when our oven hits 450. Ovens hit 450 degrees. I'm gonna use these 9x5 stainless steel pans to go on top because I already know that they fit very well. And I have 2 of them. We're just gonna put it over top just like that. And this one's gonna go over. I wanna make sure the parchment is inside the stainless steel pan so water doesn't escape. It's just gonna sit just like that. We're gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes covered. And the reason we do this is because when the dough bakes, the steam is gonna escape the water, right, in the dough, and it's gonna stay in here, keeping the crust wet while the dough rises and turns out so beautiful. All right, we're gonna bake for 30 minutes covered, and then we will check our bread and see where we're at. Echo, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
Put them in the oven with space in between so air can circulate all around in the oven. Coming up on 30 minutes, we need our pot holders and our thermometer ready to go. 1, beautiful rises. 2, gorgeous rise. We're going to poke the thermometer in 174, 75. We got a little bit longer to go. And this one's a little cooler at the 160s. We're gonna swap the loaves. Hot kitchen, watch out. This one's gonna go on this side, this on that side. Put it back in. Echo, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
And we'll recheck that. It's been 10 more minutes. Get our thermometer ready. 202, 203. We're done. Our bread's coming out. Anything above 197. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's turn off our oven. Next, take the loaves out of the pan. Ooh, my eyes are just. And out of the parchment. Onto the cooling rack it goes. Here's 2. Onto the cooling rack it goes.